You've probably heard stories of serial killers. The ones who get caught because they follow a pattern, get sloppy, and eventually slip up. But what if there was one who didn't? A killer who broke every rule we thought we knew? For 30 years, a rumor haunted the darkest corners of America. They called him the Lantern Man. And for decades, nobody believed he was real. Not until the bodies started matching and the same nightmare began repeating itself. He drifted from state to state, leaving behind a trail of seemingly unrelated tragedies. Fires, falls, car crashes, suicides, disappearances. No one connected the dots because there were no dots to connect. He moved in the dark, a phantom who left no trace. We only ever saw his face once. And to understand the terror he brought, we have to go back to the very beginning, to a police archive in rural Montana, and a case that was buried for decades. It started in November 1989. A 10-year-old boy named Aaron Mills ran barefoot through the snow to a neighbor's house, screaming that a man with a lantern was in his family's barn. When the police arrived, the snow was undisturbed, except for Aaron's tiny footprints. Inside the barn, they found his parents. Both were dead, sitting upright in chairs, facing the doorway. There were no wounds, no signs of a struggle. Their eyes were just wide open, as if they'd been startled by something impossible. Aaron's story was dismissed as trauma-induced fantasy. But in his taped interview, he kept repeating one chilling detail. The lantern was glowing, but there was no flame. 2 weeks later, Aaron Mills disappeared. He was never seen again. Back then, it was just a creepy line in a forgotten file. 30 years later, that sentence would resurface. Throughout the 90s, a rash of strange, single-car accidents plagued the Midwest, always late at night, always on isolated roads. The few survivors all reported the same thing. They saw a dim yellow light hovering in the tree line just before they crashed. One woman described it perfectly. It wasn't a car light. It wasn't a flashlight. It was like someone was walking with an old lantern, but the glow was wrong, too smooth, too quiet. Curiously, none of these witnesses were ever interviewed again. Their statements simply vanished from the public record. Someone was cleaning up after him. The first person to take the legend seriously was FBI agent Andrew Keller. He was the one who finally connected the accidental deaths across 11 states. He noticed that in every case, right before the victim died, someone had reported seeing a lone figure nearby, a road worker, a hiker, a homeless man. The descriptions varied, but one detail was always the same. They were carrying a lantern. Keller spent 3 years building a profile, believing the lantern wasn't just a tool, but a central part of the killer's ritual. Then, in 2004, Agent Keller vanished. His car was found on a service road in Colorado, keys in the ignition, engine still warm. There were no footprints, no signs of a struggle. The truly horrifying discovery was made 300 yards into the woods. It was Keller's badge, placed upright in the dirt, facing a small, hand-dug fire pit. Inside the pit were cold ashes and fragments of broken glass, the kind used in old kerosene lanterns. Andrew Keller's body was never found. For the next 20 years, the sightings continued. A couple in Tennessee saw a man with a silent lantern on their porch at midnight. A fisherman in Oregon saw a glowing light moving against the current of a river. Then, in 2019, came the breakthrough. A highway camera near Amarillo, Texas, captured the final moments of a 54-year-old woman who died of supposed heart failure in her broken-down car. The footage shows a faint yellow glow appear behind her car. Then, a tall figure steps into the frame for less than 2 seconds. He's wearing a long, dark coat, and he walks with an unnerving stillness. The lantern he carries casts light, but produces no shadow. The footage was leaked and scrubbed from the internet within minutes, but not before thousands of people downloaded it. I've seen that footage. And there's something most people miss. For one single frame, the figure looks directly at the camera, as if he knew he was being watched. That was years ago. No one has seen the Lantern Man since. Keller's family eventually released his private notes, which contained a theory the FBI refused to acknowledge. He believed the Lantern Man only chose victims who were completely alone. He didn't kill quickly. He watched. He followed. He waited. Keller wrote, "He approaches only when you notice the light." Seeing the lantern is the invitation. I don't know if that's true. But since you've heard this story, you now know what to look for. So if you're ever alone and you see a faint yellow glow outside your window, don't investigate. Don't step outside, because the lantern man waits for curiosity, and he's had a very long time to practice. Thanks for watching.